Facebook's data practices are under investigation. President Trump issues a ban on transgender troops, and the New Jersey Assembly passes several gun control bills. All this and more in this episode of Hawk TV News. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Hawk TV News. I'm Hania Sarsar.
And I'm Kara Chavarella. The Federal Trade Commission confirmed that it is currently investigating Facebook for its data practices. Facebook stock dropped 5% on March 26th when the investigation began. Early this month, it was reported that Cambridge Analytica, which is a data firm used by President Trump's campaign, accessed information from about 50 million Facebook profiles without them knowing. Politicians are calling for Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg to testify, which he has said he is willing to do.
President Trump has issued an order to ban transgender individuals from serving in the military, except under limited circumstances. The president receives recommendations from Defense Secretary Jim Mattis back in February. The White House believes that retaining troops with a history of diagnosis of gender dysphoria may require substantial medical treatment. It also believes that this will be a risk of military effectiveness. This ban has been denied legally, and the Pentagon has allowed transgender recruits to enlist since January.
Following the previous protests against gun violence, hundreds of New Jersey gun rights advocacy groups marched near the state capitol on March 26th. The march had very little influence upon the New Jersey Assembly, which passed 6 bills designed to further reduce gun violence. Some controversial proposals include restricting gun owners to 10 rounds of ammunition and making it more difficult to get a permit to carry a concealed firearm. Current New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy has supported the gun control rallies and has included $2 million of his proposed state budget to fund gun research violence.
Police officers across New Jersey will soon begin targeting distracted drivers with hefty fines for those who text and drive. The national You Drive, You Text, You Pay enforcement campaign began on April 1st. First-time offenders could face fines of $200 to $400. The fines could increase to $800 and may include 3 insurance points. This will be the 4th year that New Jersey law enforcement has engaged in this campaign. Last year's crackdown resulted in 15,000 summonses for cell phone use and texting, and 7,000 for careless driving.
The murder trial for Liam McAtasney, who was accused of killing his former friend and classmate Sarah Stern, could begin the second week in September. McAtasney's defense attorney said during a hearing on March 26th that he would not appeal a ruling that would let the jury see a video of him allegedly admitting to the crime. Prosecutors say that McAtasney killed Stern so that he could steal thousands of dollars from her. Stern's body was allegedly thrown off the Route 35 bridge into the Shark River, but was never found. McAtasney's former roommate, Preston Taylor, who pled guilty to his role in Stern's death, is expected to testify during the trial.
For a football update, we now go to Jack Reibel.
Memorable Super Bowl 52 is just a few weeks away from the 2018 NFL Draft. Since then, some big names have been on the move or gotten big money to stay where they are. With that being said, let's take a look at the top 5 moves of free agency. Number 5, the Rams signed Ndamukong Suh to a 1-year prove-it deal worth $14 million. This move gives the Rams strength on what was already a solid Rams defense, which was already improved earlier this free agency. The Rams won the NFC West this past season behind the play of their improved offense under head coach Sean McVay. Their defense was in the middle of the pack last year, but with additions such as Suh, Aqib Talib, and Marcus Peters, the Rams are poised to make another playoff run. The 4th most notable move was the Bears signing Allen Robinson to a 3-year, $42 million deal. The wideout only played a series with the Jaguars in 2017 before tearing his ACL, putting him out for the year, however, had proven himself as the #1 receiver for most teams in the years prior. Robinson will join Trey Burton in Chicago as the top 2 targets in what was a depleted receiving corps this past season. At number 3, the 49ers signed Richard Sherman to a 3-year deal worth $27 million. Sherman has been the best quarterback in the NFL since his rookie year back in 2011, leading nearly every major category. The 49ers were one of the NFL's worst through Week 10 last season, but one of the best in the final 6 weeks after acquiring Jimmy Garoppolo. The Niners are expected by many to surge out of the NFC West this year, and Sherman gives the defense a true #1 corner. The second biggest move is the Vikings bringing in veteran quarterback Kirk Cousins on a 3-year deal worth $84 million. Every penny of this deal is guaranteed making this the most guaranteed money in a single contract in NFL history. The Vikings had one of the top defenses in the league this past year, which they rode to the NFC Championship. Cousins will have a plethora of targets with Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, and Kyle Rudolph, plus second-year running back Dalvin Cook coming off a short but impressive rookie year. Finally, the biggest move this year is Tyrann Mathieu going to Houston on a one-year, $7 million deal. Mathieu is one of the most versatile players on defense in the league, as he can line up almost everywhere. The Texans have a bright future with a defense made up of stars such as J.J. Watt, Aaron Colvin, and Jadeveon Clowney, and now the Honey Badger. The Texans will also be getting back quarterback Deshaun Watson following an ACL injury that cost him most of his rookie year. It'll be interesting to see how these moves play out in the upcoming season. Back to you guys at the desk.
We have to take a short break, but stay tuned for more Hawk TV news.
Hawk TV News, and we've got it covered. This is Hawk TV News.
This is Hawk TV News, and we've got it covered.
According to a study conducted by Wallet Hub, a financial planning website, working conditions for medical professionals are not the same across all 50 states and the District of Columbia. The study reveals that New Jersey is the worst state for doctors, receiving a ranking of 51. This low score is due to low opportunities in competition, average annual wage, average starting salary, and the insured population rate. In a separate ranking based on the quality of public hospitals, New Jersey ranks 49. New York and Connecticut also has poor ratings.
As the investigation of the White House's involvement with the Russian probes continue, President Trump is scrambling to form his defense team. The team consists of only 2 attorneys after the president's private attorney for all matters relating to the case, John Dowd, quit. 5 major law firms have expressed no interest. President Trump's team is continuing its search and says it has many interested parties from New York.
The CDC has received a warning for the second wave of the flu virus. CDC reports show a drop in overall flu cases, but cases of influenza B have jumped above the more common influenza A virus in the last few weeks. Nearly 60% of recent reported flu cases have been influenza B, which has a more severe effect on younger children. The CDC does not know how severe the spread of influenza B spread will be in 2018 and encourages all Americans to get a flu shot.
A man accused of killing a Rutgers graduate in a hit and run has been sentenced to 8 years in prison by Union County prosecutors. The victim, Mujahid Henry, was a day away from receiving his diploma when a drunken man driving on the wrong side of the road struck him and drove off in Linden. The man, Eduardo Perez, eventually abandoned his vehicle after striking several parked cars. He pleaded guilty to the charge of vehicular manslaughter in January.
A recent study in Cleveland discovered that grilling meat can raise the risk of high blood pressure. Eating 2 servings of grilled meat a week can result in 17% higher risk of developing high blood pressure. The study also showed the chance of 15% higher in those who prefer their food well done. The Cleveland Clinic says moderation to grilling and consuming red meat is key. High blood pressure affects nearly half of the U.S. population and can lead to heart attacks and stroke.
Jersey Mike's Subs participated in the Day of Giving on March 28th by donating 100% of its sales to various charities. Some of those charities included Make-A-Wish Foundation, Honor Flight, and the Wounded Soldiers Fund. Last year, Jersey Mike's raised $5.5 million for charities nationwide.
We have to take another short break, but stay tuned for more Hawk TV news.
Listen.
All it took was someone who would insist that I just try.
Suddenly, everything was turned around because they judge you.
You tell them, I don't need this.
No one is going to understand.
Unless they've been through it, how can they?
Then one day you realize,
You feel so hopeless.
I need help. I need help.
You feel so hopeless.
Then one day you realize,
Unless they've been through it, how can they understand?
I don't need this.
No one's going to judge you.
suddenly everything was turned around because they insist that I just try.
All it took was someone who would just
Listen.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
We now go to Arielle Batista, who covered Mom This Criminal Justice Networking event.
This is what is making news right now. As attacks continue.
The question on all our minds, will giant bugs take over the city?
This is as close as...
My name is Arielle Batista, and today we find ourselves outside Wilson Hall for the Criminal Justice Networking event. Let's take a look inside.
This is an event for our criminal justice and homeland security majors to explore, discover, and network with career professionals and our alumni who are also in the fields of criminal justice and homeland security.
This is a hugely important opportunity for our students to make the connection between the classroom and their fields of interest.
My expectations for this event is basically just getting to know the ins and outs and just how to start becoming a state trooper. I feel like that's the main reason why I'm here.
There are opportunities in corrections, parole, probation, victim advocacy, offender services, reentry. There are a lot of really great opportunities to make a difference in people's lives, to do work that's really rewarding. And we want our students to connect with that and engage with that, to really discover what their passion in life is, where their heart is, what they want to do.
It's great for both graduate and undergraduate students pursuing careers in criminal justice, even if they're not criminal justice majors. We have so many different organizations represented here. It's really an amazing event for all students and all the professionals who get to network with young people who are so eager to find out what opportunities are available to them.
This is a great opportunity for students to explore and learn about things that will impact your careers and your futures.
Seems like everybody learned a lot out of this event. My name is Arielle Batista. Back to you guys at the desk.
We now go to Orleans Francois for an NBA update.
And here is your NBA season review. With the NBA regular season winding down and playoffs soon to start up, let's look at an overview of the NBA season. First, let's start with the defending NBA champions, the Golden State Warriors. firmly finishing and locking up the second seed in the West. The Western Conference champions may have taken a step back in terms of record-wise. This is the first time in the Steve Kerr era the Warriors have lost 20 or more games. Now, a big part of that has been due to injuries, with the all-star point guard Stephen Curry only playing 51 games, missing 31 this season. This is also the first time that the big core four starters, including Steph Curry, KD, Draymond, and Klay Thompson, have all missed time due to injuries. With Steph most likely out for the first round of the playoffs, the Warriors look to repeat as back-to-back champions, trying to win their third title in 4 years and continue this incredible dynasty. One team that has to say about that is the Houston Rockets. The team with the best record in the league has won 60-plus games, which is also the best in franchise history, and with the most likely the most valuable player this season in James Harden. Harden is having one of those Jordan-esque type seasons, averaging 31 points per game, 9 assists, and 5.4 rebounds. The bearded one has been snubbed for MVP the previous 2 seasons, but with the Rockets and himself having an historic year, there's no way in he's going to get snubbed this time. The Rockets are looking like the only team to pose a legitimate threat to the Warriors, as many are anticipating a Western Conference matchup clash for the ages. Now, moving over to the Eastern Conference, LeBron James and the Cavs have taken a step back. Every year, there seems to be some type of drama in Cleveland, with LeBron constantly posting cryptic messages on social media, locker room continuity issues, who's really the coach, either LeBron James or Ty Lue, or just flat out bad basketball. Right now, the Cavs sit third in the Eastern Conference behind the Boston Celtics and the Toronto Raptors. With the constant roster changes from adding Derrick Rose, Isaiah Thompson, Dwayne Wade, and Jay to now trading all those guys at the trade deadline, can Cleveland make a push and make it out the East for a 4th consecutive time? Or will someone new take the crown away from the mighty Cavaliers led by LeBron James? One team that has looked primed to do so is the Toronto Raptors. The best record in the East, the team up north has had an incredible season, but are still slept on. Losing to the Cavs 4-0 in last season's playoff matchup, the Raptors look to right the wrong and change history, as they're looking strong right around the time where the team have to play their best basketball. It is now time for the baby Raptors to step up and take the crown, or will that happen? Time will tell. That's all I got for you guys on sports. Back to you incredible people at the desk.
Apple wants emojis to represent people with disabilities. A proposal was sent to the Unicode Consortium, the nonprofit organization that sets standards for emojis. The proposed emojis include a person in a wheelchair, a service dog, a person with a cane, and a prosthetic arm. Apple consulted with organizations for people with disabilities to put together the proposal. Earlier this year, Unicode revealed that there will be 157 new emojis later this year.
New treatment is available in New Jersey for those with anxiety, migraines, and chronic pain. Doctors can now recommend medical marijuana to patients after Governor Phil Murphy announced the expansion of the medical marijuana program. Other changes include an application process for dispensaries that want to open additional retail sites and reduce registration and renewal fees for patients. The administration also plans on licensing more companies for the production and distribution of medical marijuana.
Serena Williams is showing fans a different side of herself. HBO will premiere Being Serena, a 5-part documentary series that will address the tennis star's recent marriage and birth of her first child. Williams has spoken about her complications throughout her pregnancy and wants fans to know more about her personal life. It will also portray her getting back to the courts after her pregnancy. At 36 years old, Williams has 39 Grand Slam titles and 4 Olympic gold medals.
The new movie Pacific Rim Uprising has took the #1 movie spot at the box office its opening weekend, earning a total of $28 million. Pacific Rim Uprising takes a spot from Marvel studio Black Panther, which has the #1 movie spot for the previous 5 weeks. Even though Black Panther is no longer #1, it has earned over $630 million in sales in the U.S. and earning over $1.2 billion internationally. The new Pacific Rim movie features a new cast, including Star Wars actor John Boyega and actors Kaylee Spansey and Scott Eastwood.
We now go to Katie Perret for information on a new study abroad course.
So not too long ago was spring break. Did you go somewhere fun? I know I didn't. However, this can all change next year. Our very own Monmouth University has a class you can take in the 2019 spring semester called Adventure Education in Costa Rica. Led by Dr. Jeremy Lackman, this class will give you an inside exclusive look into adventure education as you experience it yourself firsthand in Costa Rica. That's right, by taking this class, you get to study abroad throughout Costa Rica during spring break in 2019. While you are there, you will be able to participate in activities including whitewater rafting through the rivers, zip lining through the forests, and you can even learn how to surf in the Pacific Ocean. You will also see many cities including San Jose, Arenal, and Jaco. This is a hybrid course, therefore they meet once a week. For this class, it will be Tuesdays from 6:05 to 7:25 p.m. Additional travel costs will also be required. If you have any questions, you can contact Dr. Lackman at jlackman@monmouth.edu or stop by his office in McAllen Hall, room 19B. If you want more of an inside look at what the spring 2018 class is up to and see more from their experience in Costa Rica, check out Monmouth University Education in Costa Rica Study Abroad on Facebook. For the registration for the 2018 and 2019 semester is almost here. You're going to want to make sure this class is on your schedule. I'm Katie Prey, back to you guys at the desk.
We have taken another short break, but when we return, Donald Kohler has the exciting recap on Monmouth sports.
The Extra Point is Hawk TV's only sports show, and what I love about The Extra Point is that it allows people to really come on and talk about what they're passionate in, and that's sports.
When I first got here, I didn't really know what to expect. It was really a fun time. This is the most fun I've had in college so far. It's really not as competitive as people will think it is. I've been on air for almost every episode of Extra Point.
Unscripted debate is probably the best format for sports shows today, and I think that's what's growing. So more than anything else, The Extra Point just provides people to come on Hawk TV to talk about what they love, and that's sports.
Tony, what's it like being a producer?
It's so much fun, especially when I get to work with Matt.
You put in a lot of work, try and get your moves right. You want to make the show look as smooth as possible. You don't want choppy zooms in and out. You want to make it look like the camera's not even there. This is my first time at the Extra Point. I'm just saying, I'm coming back now. They've got me hooked.
I control this switcher right here, and I pretty much make the what the director says happen.
Slowly zoom out, and fade to black. Gorgeous. That is how it's done. We make big TV here. We practice, we execute, we get paid.
Nick, that's all right. I throw a couple of 15-second PSAs in there, and we're good.
Done. Yeah. You're done.
Let's take a look at how your Monmouth Hawks are doing in sports this week.
The baseball team lost its home opener against Hofstra on March 28th. The Hawks had a rough day on the mound as they fell 14-6. However, Pete Papkun had a dominating performance at the plate as he went 4 for 5 with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. On March 30th, the team won 3 games against Kansas. Rusty and Austin Counselor each picked up their second win of the season in 2 wins, and Pete Papkun hit another home run in the first win of the series. The team improves 7-15 on the year and will travel to Connecticut for a 3-game series against Quinnipiac on April 7th. After having 4 straight games canceled, the softball team took down Fairfield in a 2-game set on March 31st. Amanda Riley threw a 3-hit shutout in the first win, and Megan Stauffer earned her first win of the season in an 8-2 victory later that day. The softball team moves to 10-13 this season and is undefeated in conference play. The Hawks will take on Ryder in a 2-game series on April 7th. The men's lacrosse team blew past Siena 17-8 on March 31st. The win tied the program's record for goals scored in a single game. Monmouth never trailed in what was a dominating offensive win. Bryce Wasserman totaled 4 goals to go with 3 assists. Noah Lode had 15 assists as the Hawks picked up their second conference win of the season. The men will go to face NJIT at home on April 7th. The women's lacrosse team fell 14-3 to Marist on March 31st. After keeping the score close in the first half, the Red Foxes scored 11 unanswered goals to secure a big win over Monmouth. Chloe Novak, Alexa Smith, and Allison Tortoro scored the lone 3 goals for the Monmouth Hawks as the women fell 3-8 on the year. The Hawks travel to Kansas for their next game on April 8th. The men's golf team finished 14 out of 19 in the FAU Spring Championship on March 25th. Monmouth was projected to finish 5th in the MAAC in the preseason, and the team is off to a good start as they finish in the middle of the pack of what was a competitive field. Kyle Burke led the Hawks on the weekend with a 3-day score of 218. The men will travel to Marvelin, Pennsylvania for the Villanova Invitational Tournament on April 9th. That's all I have for you this week. For more on your college and pro sports, be sure to tune in to The Extra Point right here on Hawk TV. Back to you guys at the desk.
Be sure to tune in next time for another edition of Hawk TV News.